so cute. I wish I could scratch that belly, but
I know, it's all I ever want to do.
It's so cute, and
it's such a trap.
It would feel good for her. I know it.
Just get that towel wiggled around in there, maybe.
All right.
You know what I want? Some of this.
Do you want some of this?
Just chapstick. That's all I need.
Emily doesn't do a snack like I do a snack.
It's a very specific time of day when I snack. I tensed, waiting for the fury, both his and mine, but it was only quiet and calm in the darkness of his room. I could almost taste the sweetness of reunion in the air, a separate fragrance from the perfume of his breath. The emptiness when we were apart left its own bitter aftertaste, something I didn't consciously notice until after it was removed. There was no friction in the space between us. The stillness was peaceful, not like the calm before the tempest, but like a clear night untouched by even the dream of a storm.
Damn.
I added a word in there.
That was
I'll edit it out
incredibly
later.
sexy. What was the word you added?
I said until after it was removed.
Oh.
I added an after.
Dude, I read this chapter. I even reread it this morning because I was like, I want to make sure that I'm fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not realize how sexy of a...
I just thought it was very sweet. That
It is really
we're not
sweet.
mad. We're just together.
It is really... I love this chapter
Oh my gosh.
so much.
Are you guys ready to re-fall in love with Edward Cullen right now?
Are you guys ready to again realize why we are Team Edward?
We'll tell you.
Look at my last page. It's just OMG Edward and then just a trail of hearts down the page. I love him so much. Edward.
Okay.
All right.
Welcome back, guys. My name is Emily.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marin.
And this is Remember Twilight.
You adjusted very well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we would do like really good at that improv game where we just have to say the same thing at the same time.
Okay.
Anyway, but I think we would be a really good like two-headed monster contestant.
Yeah.
Because we
just already say the same thing anyway.
Yes, we do. All right. So
okay.
we're back into Eclipse.
Yes.
We're rocking and rolling.
This is chapter 8.
Ooh,
Temper. You'll find out whom's temper we're referring to very soon here. Not Edward's.
Nah.
FYI.
Nah.
Last week we got the Rosalie story recap.
Oh man. Rosalie she sat on the same couch as Bella.
Mm-hmm.
She smelled so good. She looked so good. She was so close.
She was saying really scary things.
Was talking and talking and talking, and Bella was just like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
yep, okay, So that was last week.
And Edward kidnapped Bella from the sidewalk of the school.
No, Jacob.
That's what I said.
You said Edward.
Jacob, I mean. Did I really?
You did.
Jacob stole Bella to La Push
Yeah,
for the day.
dude.
Okay.
She went to school the next day, and Jacob just rolled on up on that motorcycle and kidnapped her, and this was a very welcome kidnapping.
Yes.
All right.
Bella and Jake end up hanging out on the beach again. Which is one of my very favorite places to be.
Oh my gosh.
That first beach.
I know, it's so beautiful.
She asks him what the latest scandal is, and it just so happens that there is one.
I know, he's like so nervous.
It's been one
She's
week.
Like, what's the latest scandal? And he's like, what do you mean?
How do you know?
She's like, I'm just kidding, what? What is it?
Well, Quill has imprinted. That makes 3.
No!
3 out of, 10?
That's too many. That's not rare.
No, that's...
I know what rare is, but that's
frequent.
not rare.
Jacob then proceeds to stare at Bella harder than he has ever done before, trying to force this imprint. Doesn't work.
Yeah.
He's really close. He just needs to shift his eyes down like 2 feet and to the left a little bit.
To the fallopian tube. To the ovary.
Yeah. Left or right, we're not completely sure. I don't think we'll ever find that out, but he's close.
It doesn't work, so he just grabs her hand and they start walking, and I actually love this. She gets a little worried. She's like, I don't know, we're holding hands, we look like a couple, we're walking on the beach. She's a little nervous about it. I, on the other hand, am like, you know what? It's okay to love different people in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to walk holding hands with your best friend. It doesn't mean that it's automatically a romantic thing. And so, and she does keep holding his hand. She doesn't like let go and make it weird and whatever. She's like, this is how it's always been, and I'm fine with it. And I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I like getting to that point where it's like, that's cool, it's fine.
Yeah. We get to the scandalous part about the news.
Yeah, why is Quill's imprinting such a scandal?
And the whole time Jacob's trying to explain this to Bella, she's like, oh, I bet it's this. Oh, I bet it's this. And he's like,
guessing.
shut up, you're literally never gonna guess.
She's guessing and guessing.
Turns out Quill has imprinted on Emily's 2-year-old niece, Claire.
So then, this is where Bella is like, Will imprinted with a 2-year-old?
She mentions the fact that Claire is in fact a baby.
She's a baby.
And then Jacob, okay, here we go with the Jacob not really saying the proper words sometimes. And he says, he'll just have to be patient for a few decades.
That's the wrong way to put it.
No.
He doesn't have to be patient for a few decades. So from what we understand about the imprinting thing is that
it's currently happening.
It's immediate. It's from the moment of imprinting.
Waiting for something.
No, he's not.
He's
not like waiting for the romance. He's in it. He's being the person.
Yeah.
Right now.
He's like, okay, I have this 2-year-old that I take care of, so we do 2-year-old things like play peekaboo.
Right, and we go
and I make sure she doesn't drown in the ocean.
That's right. She plays on the playground, and I watch her and make sure she doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
That's what
it's
it
very,
is
like,
right now.
Parental.
Yes.
Ish, I say ish. Guys, I said ish.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Bella is horrified, as is everyone else.
Absolutely horrified. She's coming in with the truth. He's like, you're making judgments. I can see it on your face. And she goes, sorry, but it sounds really creepy.
So let's hear from Jacob himself on why imprinting is not creepy, okay?
Okay.
It's not like that, you've got it all wrong, he says. I've seen what it's like through his eyes. There's nothing romantic about it at all. Not for Quill, not now.
Cool.
It's hard to describe. It's not like love at first sight. It's more like gravity moves, and suddenly it's not the earth holding you here anymore. It's her.
It's like,
and nothing matters more than she does.
Yeah, it's like that scene in Inception where they're
Oh
walking
my
on
gosh.
the wall. Wait,
that scene.
Is that what? No.
Yeah. What? I think it is. A change in reality.
It is.
Nothing matters more than her, and you would do anything for her, be anything for her. You become whatever she needs you to be, whether that's a protector or a lover or a friend or a brother.
I love that.
So it doesn't have to always be lover. It could be like, oh, I have this girl, I love her, she's gonna be my sister forever.
Yeah, it's a consensual
For her.
person relationship.
Yes.
So she gets to choose. She gets to choose whether or not she becomes romantically involved,
Mm-hmm.
or if it's just a human that's her person for the rest of her life, her soulmate. And as I have said before we even ever talked about imprinting, your soulmate does not have to be the person that you are romantically involved with for the rest of your life. In fact, I would say most of the time it isn't. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is cool. Thank you, Jacob.
Yes, he points it out a little bit more plainly and says that Quill will be the best, kindest big brother any kid ever had. There isn't a toddler on the planet that will be more carefully looked after than that little girl will be. And then when she's older and she needs a friend, he'll be more understanding, trustworthy, and reliable than anyone else she knows. And then when she's grown up, they'll be happy. They'll be as happy as Emily and Sam if they choose that.
Sure.
Bella asks, doesn't Claire get a choice? And he says, of course. But why wouldn't she choose him in the end? He'll be her perfect match, like he was designed for her alone.
Okay, Jacob, but That's where it gets a little into is this grooming area that people like to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like, why wouldn't she choose this person who has specifically nurtured her to love him? But it's not that.
I think intent is
right.
The biggest difference here.
Yeah, for him
he
it is not
grooming
about
her so that she will choose him or pick him. He's gonna do it regardless of what she chooses.
Amen.
Right. Okay. Bella asks Jacob when he thinks it'll happen for him, and he's a little drama baby about it, and he says, never.
Never.
And then he's got to go and ruin the mood, and he says, I'll never see anyone else, Bella. I only see you.
Okay.
Stop.
Even when I close my eyes and try to see something else, ask Quill or Embry, it drives them all crazy. But he is just seeing the egg.
He just needs to erase the face, put a new one, add a little bit of Edward in there, and he's on the right track.
Which is just perfect.
It's just a cuter Bella.
Think of it.
I'm sorry to say.
Reddish hair?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Bella is kind of uncomfortable at this, and she says that she should go home. But Jacob just smiles his baby Jake smile and convinces her to stay and ride bikes. So they do.
Yep.
They ride around until it starts raining and it gets too muddy on the roads, and then they go back to the garage and put the bikes away. And Jacob reminisces about the good old days, which Bella refers to as her own personal dark ages.
Okay.
They don't
very different.
Remember things the same.
Very, very different. Oh my goodness, so sad.
Yeah. Sorry, Jake, but that was not my happy time. Jacob finally apologizes for telling Charlie about the bikes, and then asks her about something she said the day that he tattletaled on her. Let me turn to page 181. He asks her about when she said that it would be none of his business if Edward turned her into a vampire. And Bella immediately gets very, very sad about this. Because that is true, but she knows that he's going to be very sad about it. And so she says yes, and he says, I guess I knew that. And he asks her, do you know what this will mean? You do understand, do you know what's going to happen if they break the treaty? Like, it's going to be war. And she's like, we're going to leave first. And he's like, it doesn't matter, we'll come and find you anywhere.
There wasn't a geographic limit to the treaty. I love that he's going to pull out that.
Yeah. He's going to get the compass and the map, and he's going to start finding you. She then points out that Jacob broke the treaty first, and he's like, well, yeah, but the Cullens didn't do anything about it, so it doesn't matter. Like, they had their chance to break it, they chose not to.
Because they're not babies.
Crazy. They're stupid, but they're not stupid. Bella says, Jacob, it doesn't have to be this way, and he says it is that way, and she asks him if he'll ever forgive her. And he says, you're not going to be Bella anymore. There'll be no one to forgive.
Oh. So, okay. So, Jacob, when you changed into a werewolf, did it change you? You weren't Jacob anymore? You weren't... yeah, well, that's true. He was a little bit super different.
Pretty annoying.
However, she's still, she doesn't immediately become a demon.
Well, he thinks that she does.
Yeah.
They think that vampires don't have souls, and so it's just going to be a monster living in Bella's body.
Fine. But even when Angel and Spike, haven't these guys watched Buffy? Why didn't they watch Buffy? Like, those guys were still in there, even though their soul was gone.
Yeah. You can put the soul back in.
Put it back in?
You just need an orb of...
I don't remember. Yes, exactly.
Help me out, guys.
I don't know
anyway. Orb of Thessil? I don't know.
Sure.
Okay. She then asks him if this is goodbye then, and he says, well, why? We still have a few years. Can't we just, like, let things be as they are until the time comes?
Years? No, Jake. Not years. Weeks is more accurate. Just a full-on freak out.
Jacob's holding a cup. Pop! It's gone.
He pops the soda can. She's drenched in Coke.
And then Jacob is doing the biggest body roll he has ever done before.
The jazz hands are out of control.
They're a blur. His outsides are starting to...
He's about to do the worm.
Yeah, it's getting real bad. And then Jacob really has to focus. He pulls it together. He stops growling. He stops quivering until it's only a minor jazz hand again. And then he repeats. Weeks.
She's still frozen. She's scared to death.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? This is exactly what Edward was afraid
Yes.
of. Exactly.
And she's
like,
well,
oh crap, he was right.
Here it is. Here is where I become deformed.
At least, hopefully, Carlisle has also practiced the plastics.
Yes.
Bella's like, well, obviously it's going to be soon. Edward's only 17. I'm almost 19. It's disgusting already. I feel like a cougar.
He's all I want.
Yeah.
What else can I do?
What's the point in waiting? And Jacob's like, well, you could do anything
Anything.
else. Literally
Anything.
anything. You could die. That would be better.
You'd be better off dead. Ew. With this shit
Bye. She takes her bike. It's still raining. She drives all the way to the Cullens' house.
I
She gets
love
there. She is soaking wet. Alice is waiting in the garage for her.
She decides that motorcycles are actually too impractical for Washington.
Yes.
And she's going to sell it the first chance she gets.
Yep. Alice is sad that she hadn't even gotten to drive her car anywhere yet.
I know, she's sitting on the car just petting it.
I'm sorry, car. I didn't do good enough at keeping Bella away from the bush. Because everyone, for some reason, is convinced that Edward's going to take the car back.
I know, weird.
Why would you think that?
Edward, I wouldn't even think that.
No.
Like, that wouldn't even cross my mind. He's not, like, he's never, I don't know. I mean, I haven't known him for his whole entire 100 years, but I can't imagine him giving a gift and then taking it back.
No. Especially one that she's been wanting. And also, remember, Carlisle's a billionaire. It's not like she couldn't go buy one herself.
Yes.
Anyway. Bella apologizes about the car, but she's too cold and wet and upset, and so she just goes, and I hope she takes a shower. I hope she eats dinner. I hope she drinks some water. We don't know.
I think she does the shower, but there's nothing about food going on here.
Yeah.
It goes from... Alice says, you look like you could use a hot shower, and then the next thing we know, she's back on the couch.
Yep.
So, okay.
Okay. Aw,
And then
guys.
this next section,
Aw.
Emily has perfectly named the sweetest baby.
The sweetest baby.
The sweetest baby.
Angel.
I love him.
So Bella wakes up in the middle of the night and finds that she has been moved into the bed. She rolls over and realizes that she should have fallen off the couch. Edward is there and he apologizes for waking her up. And they both sit and they wait for the other one to start yelling. But they're just so happy to be together.
So then, okay, this is what Emily read at the beginning, and I was like, what? This is the smell of... She says, I could almost taste the sweetness of reunion in the air, a separate fragrance from the perfume of his breath. That's just pheromones.
Mm-hmm.
This, in the air, he has gotten her on the bed. It's a big bed. Lots of room.
Oh, yeah.
They are not very big people, so they've got lots of room to move around.
Oh, yeah.
And there is a scent of
Reunion. Mm-hmm.
Is that what that means?
Well, just you listen, because Edward turns up the spice level of their cuddling.
Oh, Edward!
He's going in for a new move, you guys. I think Emmett talked to him while they were gone. And they're like, listen, if you want her to stop hanging out with Jacob, you gotta try out the leg hitch. She won't leave your side ever again.
You gotta
promise.
hitch the leg.
You start at the head. You just caress all the way down the body till you get to that calf. Grab it. Pull it up.
Hitch the leg.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It's so beautiful too. I mean, like, he kisses her, he kind of laughs. I was ready for you to be mad at me. Maybe I should make you mad more often. She's like, give me a moment to work up to it. He. I'll wait as long as you want. maybe in the morning, whatever you prefer. Welcome home. And then I just think it's really nice. It's that good abstinence porn again. It's working for me. His hand curved around my elbow, moving slowly down my arm, across my ribs, over my waist, tracing along my hip and down my leg, around my knee. He paused there, his hand curling around my calf. He pulled my leg up, suddenly hitching it around his hip. Yes!
Yes, this has Edmund written all over it. There's no way Edward would have ever thought of this by himself. That's all I'm saying.
The boys talked about it all. They talked about it all weekend, and Emma was like, all right, let's go. Lay down. And Edward was like, I don't know. And he's like, no, trust me, you gotta practice. It's weird if you don't. You won't know what to do. She stops breathing. This wasn't the kind of thing he usually allowed. Despite his cold hands, I felt suddenly warm. Really, really good. Into it.
Yes.
So much. I've been waiting for this
So
for a long time.
He asks her why she doesn't like the bed, but our girl, she's ready. She's ready to go. She's not about to have this conversation.
Oh, man.
He keeps going, telling her these new moves will be much harder on the new couch. Or on the couch. But before Bella can take off anyone's pants, he rolls away from her, tells her not to get carried away. And this is a huge bummer for all involved. Us included.
All of us.
Everyone.
Very disappointed. Had to put the book down. I literally wrote the words, Edward, you tease!
Oh, yes.
In big letters, and then had to put the book down and go get something to drink.
Bella tells Edward that a bed is pointless if marriage... Wait, hold on. Let me try that again. Bella tells Edward that a bed that is not for marriage is pointless. And he reminds her that it's too dangerous, but she will do anything.
Danger is Bella's middle name.
She's fine if she breaks a hip.
Isabella Danger Swan.
Yes.
That hip can go. It's fine. The bed
Who
is
needs
gaudy.
one?
Who cares?
Yeah. He does apologize for giving her the wrong impression and that it wasn't nice. Obviously it wasn't.
She's literally like, I'm going to spontaneously combust one of these days, and you'll have no one to blame but yourself.
For real. Let's see.
Emily's pulling out the notebook.
I know, because I didn't finish typing.
Oh, okay.
So, we're going to continue on here. He apologized for giving her the wrong impression. That it wasn't nice to pull out the fake seduction techniques.
No, it was very, very nice.
It was nice. You can give me the wrong impression anytime you want, Edward.
Yes,
please.
It's fine. Even a little
right
bit
now I'm
is
free.
better than nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He chuckled. You have no idea, Bella. It doesn't help that you're so eager to undermine my self-control either. Excuse me, you brought her into your bed, mister.
Yeah, you brought... Yeah.
He literally carried her over and laid her down and laid next to her. I know he's done it a million times in the Twin at the Swan House, but this is...
There's something different when the chief isn't one room away, you know?
You've only got the vampires who can hear literally everything that's going on.
Nothing they haven't heard before.
Did he make them leave?
Maybe he did.
Guys, please
No,
leave.
it's-
I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
I'm going to try the leg hitch. Emmett's like, yes, I'll leave. Goes to the attic.
Bella's not going to apologize for trying to get in Edward's pants, but
No.
Edward wants to apologize because Bella was angry with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he
So
says,
good, so
I'm
good.
sorry, I was wrong. It's much easier to have the proper perspective when I have you safely here.
Mm-hmm.
I go a little berserk when I try to leave you. I don't think I'll go so far again. It's not worth it.
Good apology.
It doesn't stop here, folks.
Edward, I'm going to cry.
You thought that we were talking about falling in love with Edward because of the leg hitch? No, you're wrong. It's because
No.
of the...
It's so
Apology
good, you guys.
here.
He does this apology perfectly, and then he sticks with it the
Yep.
rest of their lives. It's so good.
And this is something that's not in the movie, so I'll give it all to you here. He says, I'm sorry I had Alice hold you hostage. That was a bad idea. I won't do it again.
Oh.
Bella says, okay, he was already forgiven. But slumber parties do have their advantages. You can hold me hostage anytime you want.
Snuggles in.
Uh-huh. And then Bella wants to apologize.
And he's like, what do you have to apologize for? She goes, aren't you mad at me? And he goes, no. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, he's not mad at her.
Yep. And she goes, well, didn't you see Alice when you got home? Are you going to take her car back? He's like, of course I'm not. And she's like, well, don't you want to know what I did? And he's like, of course I mean, I always want to know what you do, but you don't have to tell me.
Dr. Mature Edward Cullen, MD.
He has entered the building, and he is here to stay. She goes, but I went to La Push. He says, I know. She goes, and I ditched school. And he says, so did I.
Oh my gosh.
And she goes, where did all this tolerance come from? And he says, I decided that you were right.
I decided he was like, I was wrong the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it. On my time away with the boys, and they were like, they smacked me around. They made me practice the hitch, and I decided that I was wrong and you were right the whole time.
Yeah, my problem before was more about my prejudice against werewolves than anything else. I'm going to try to be more reasonable and trust your judgment. If you say it's safe, then I'll believe you. And, most importantly, I'm not willing to let this drive a wedge between us.
Heart. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. He then asks her if she's going to go back to La Push anytime soon. And she remembers Jacob the Rude Black. And he's like, no pressure, I just want to know so that, I can do my own thing while you're doing your own thing. It's fine. And she's like, no, I don't have plans to go back. And he's like, well, if, don't do that for me. If you want to go, you go.
Yeah. And
she says, well, I don't think I'm welcome anymore. And he asks if she ran over anyone's cat.
He's trying to be so funny.
Uh-huh.
Well, what'd you do? Run over somebody's cat?
Edward with the dad jokes.
Well, he's just like, what can I do to make this funny? But in his head, he's like, what did she do? What did she do? What did she do? What did she do?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, what did she do?
She goes, I thought Jacob would have realized. I didn't think it would surprise him. He wasn't expecting that it was so soon. He said he'd rather see me dead.
And then Edward is like, I'm gonna kill him.
But I'm gonna snuggle you first.
He turns into a snuggle statue.
Yep.
And he's just like, kill the werewolf.
I know I just said that it was about my prejudice, but this is crossing the line because you hurt Bella's feelings.
Yes.
And that's worse than anything else you could do.
Instead of saying any of that, and instead of overreacting, and instead of doing anything, he hugs her and he just says, I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And then he doesn't say anything else. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is how you apologize. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
She's like, I was worried, I thought you would be glad. And he's like, glad over something that hurt you? I don't think so, Bella. Edward Cullen!
Cry break. Pause until you are done sobbing.
Okay.
And then he stops. He doesn't say anything else, and she's like, well, what's wrong? And he's like, we've got this good thing going, I don't want to tell you. And she's like, just tell me. And he's like, well, I could literally go and just murder him right now, but I know that you wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
And she goes, if you're gonna have a lapse in control, I can think of a better place for it.
She wants the D.
So bad.
And
just do it, Edward. You just lay there. It's fine.
You just lay there.
That's all she needs. Am I wrong?
She will take care of everything. You just lay there. Oh my gosh. I'm never going to stop laughing at this. Here's the thing, though. He is so distracted by Jacob being such a butt that he's completely not turned on anymore. He's just mad.
It doesn't matter though, does it?
No, not for Edward, not for a vampire, I think. But he's just he's so distracted that he's just like, I have to kill Jacob now. Yeah. So he can't think of anything else. He's so distracted.
Also, Emmett didn't teach me any other moves. If I just do the same thing, you're going to be like, unoriginal.
Doesn't matter, I guess. She doesn't care.
Yep. Edward asks if he must always be the responsible one, and Bella says, no, let me be the responsible one.
For a few minutes?
Or hours.
A few minutes? What kind of...
She's going to take whatever she can get.
What kind of videos has she been watching? A few minutes. You guys, I'm dead.
Oh my gosh.
My cheeks hurt. This is so good.
It's the best chapter so far,
It's
honestly.
such a great chapter. I love it so much. They don't do this in the movie. I think if they had had this conversation, this chapter in the movie, people would have been so much more receptive to Team Edward.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Totally. Edward then tells Bella to go to sleep. Nothing is going to happen tonight.
Dang it.
And she's like, oh wait, Rosalie.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, oh yeah. Edward thinks this conversation is going to go in a very different way than it does.
Oh, I know.
Because he's like, oh yeah, she gave you a lot to consider.
Yeah, so
to
he's
stay
like,
human.
maybe she convinced Bella that she doesn't need to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
No, Bella's like, did you ever remember what about all those other girls?
Yeah. I don't think we actually mentioned it, but in the last chapter, Rosalie talks about how Edward had never found her attractive, but it was okay because no one else either. Because all those girls up in Alaska, all the cousins,
Yeah.
he didn't like any of them either.
And this is
so
the
she's
first
fine.
time that Bella's been like, wait a minute.
Hold on.
There's a whole family of other beautiful girl vampires.
Crap, and they're oh no.
Shoot. So then she asks him about it.
Did any of them like have a crush on you, Edward? And he's like,
He's just silent.
And she's like, well, she told me you didn't show any preference, but I was wondering if any of them did. And he's just like, She's like, I'm gonna go ask Alice if you don't spill the tea, Edward. He's like, well, there was one. But I turned her down very gentlemanly like, and so it's fine, Bella. No big deal. He tells her to go to sleep again and that she is the only one who has ever touched his heart. And he hums her lullaby to her as she falls asleep.
Oh, Edward. He started to hum my lullaby, and I knew it was only a matter of time till I succumbed, so I closed my eyes and snuggled closer into his chest. Edward, you win. This is why, you guys. And and then from now on, and I know because I just read through this book, he sticks to his word.
Yeah.
He never wavers. He's strong. He's ever stalwart. He's so good.
Yeah, well, and then he like starts to think like, well, Bella likes to ride bikes, so maybe that's something that we could do together. I'll get us a matching set, and like she likes to spend time with Jacob, so I'll make sure that she gets to him safely, and you know.
I'll make sure that everything that happens between her and Jacob and her and me is her choice. Mm-hmm. That I'm never gonna force my desires or my fear or whatever onto her ever again, because she's a human who has her own desires and needs and wants and feelings, and I'm not gonna be the one to take any of that away from her. He changed over the weekend.
Yeah, I did.
He learned and he grew, and oh my gosh, I love him so much.
Me too.
Hashtag Team Edward.
Team Edward
Team
forever.
Edward. We have to have another episode called Team Edward.
I mean, we're that serious about this.
You guys. It's so good. It's so, in the name of Carlisle Cullen, amen.
Amen.
It's so good. I love this chapter so much.
Me too.
Edward does a good job.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good boy.
He is.
All right.
Okay.
So that was chapter 8
Oh my gosh.
of Eclipse.
Yeah.
Thanks for remembering it with us, you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for being our people. Thanks for being here with us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for telling your friends. Thanks for listening with your friends and your boyfriends and your girlfriends and just thanks for being there. It's amazing. This is an amazing thing that we've been able to build with you guys. Mm-hmm. So thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
And remember
this cute apology and nothing else.
Yes, please do. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, we'll see you guys next week.
I love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.